Welcome into Good Morning Greyhounds. Caden Coulford alongside
Liam Blaze.
And we have two coaches on deck today. We've had some football throughout the season, but now it's basketball season. Got a little colder, now we're inside for sports on Good Morning Greyhounds. Welcome in. Good Morning Greyhounds. Caden Coulford, Liam Blaze. Our first guest today, head coach of the women's basketball team here at the University of Indianapolis, Mark Mitchell. Coach, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you guys for having me.
So we just want to start off easy. So what got you into basketball?
I don't know. I was just a young kid playing basketball in the streets. You know, we just had a good time competing with each other as youngsters. And I played a little football when I was young. And I realized early that I like indoor sports better.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. Spent a lot of time in Newark, New Jersey. My parents split, so my mom moved to Maryland, and I lived in Maryland for a little bit, Gaithersburg, Maryland. Shout out to G-Bird. But Newark, New Jersey, Jersey is my home.
Nice. So like, what made you want to start, I guess, coaching? Because there's a difference between playing and coaching.
Well, when I was a youngster, 1982 was the first college basketball game I ever watched, and it was a national championship game, Georgetown versus North Carolina. And I saw John Thompson, this black male figure who was kind of intimidating, if you will. And I just watched him, and I looked at him as a role model, and I said, that was the first game I've ever watched. In college, I was a big NBA fan, and I said, wow, like he really showed how he cared about his kids, and he fought for his kids, and I saw the camaraderie that Georgetown team had, even though they lost to Jordan in the championship game. But I was a Georgetown fan ever since then, and I was a John Thompson fan ever since then. I kind of want to emulate myself after someone like that.
Previously, you coached at FDU for 9 seasons, where you went undefeated, 33-0, won Coach of the Year, and St. Peter's for another 4. In those experiences, what did you want to bring here to Indianapolis to UIndy?
Just hard-nosed, hard work ethic. Get down and gritty and work hard, and I'm always about just working hard and letting the results be the results, and see whatever happens.
All right. So how do you think your first year at UIndy went overall?
First year was, I think it was a good experience. I think we laid the foundation of what we want to be. We're not there yet. We are on our way there. But we had some really great young ladies who bought into what we were trying to do. Maya Scheit and Lauren With, and of course Sadie Hill. Those young ladies really bought in and brought a lot of leadership and some toughness. Particularly Maya and Sadie were really tough-nosed kids, and that's what we want to be moving forward.
And after losing Maya and Sadie, how do you structure around the loss? How do you bring new girls in, and what's the ideology behind that?
Well, it's the same work ethic that you always have. Different people in the uniforms, but it's the same work ethic. So the new young ladies, or the returners as well, have to understand what we're trying to do. No matter what happens, you have to go out and go hard and work hard and play together. So those are the things that we wanted to instill in our program, and that's the culture that we want to have.
Well, as a coach, how do you incorporate the new transfers and recruits into the system that they've never done before?
Well, they got to catch up quick. We didn't really have a summer, any summer program or anything like that. So when they come in preseason, just getting to know each other, just getting to know the coaching staff, getting to know what we're trying to accomplish here. And everyone has to just catch up and fall into place. So if you work hard, everything else works for us. So that's what we're really trying to do.
Hard work is definitely something this team prides itself on. And looking back to this past weekend, the second game of which you played the #1 team in the country, and Ashland, what did you learn about your girls in that matchup?
Well, what I learned was our culture is definitely ascending and going in the right direction. I mean, there were multiple times in that game against Ashland that we could have just hung our heads and folded. But a Mark Mitchell coach team, we don't do that. That's not my nature. That's not who we are. And we just kept fighting and fought back. I was extremely pleased with our effort against the #1 team in the country, and nobody backed down and nobody hung their head, and I was extremely proud of us.
So you just said it there, Mark Mitchell coach team. So what exactly falls into that?
You got to be tough. You got to be mentally tough, physically tough. Keep your emotions in check. But I don't want to hold anyone back. You can go up to the edge as many times as you like. Just don't go over the edge. So we have to be mentally tough, and no matter what the circumstances are, we get to the next play, and we're going to win the next play, and we're going to go hard each and every possession.
And as we take a look at some of your highlights through last season and this season, what is the game plan heading into tonight and as we go into Terre Haute against St. Mary of the Woods?
Well, we're going to really be in attack mode tonight. We understand that what we need to do is our strength is our guards. We're going to be really attacking with our guards. We have multiple guards that can do multiple things, shoot the three, drive, hit mid-range shots. So we're really going to be in attack mode offensively. And defensively, we're going to be very, very active and loud and showing our hands and playing without fouling. So I think we're going to be extremely effective this evening.
Now, one of your guards, Lana Wells, is a junior now. She just recently dropped 30 points this past weekend. So how important is she as a leader and a player to your team?
E is the catalyst. She's the head of the snake. What she did against, without question, the best team in NCAA Division II basketball, women's basketball, they had no answer for her. So if she can do that against the best team in the country, she can do that against anyone. And I'm sure she's going to show up and show out each and every night moving forward, going through our conference as well.
And coming out of the off season, you can incorporate the transfers into this too. Who do you think has made the biggest jump or that you think will increase their production the most from last year to this year?
Well, we have several young ladies that I'm extremely confident on. I would say the one person that really jumped out to me from last year to this year is Patty Chikamba. She's a walk-on. The young lady just came in and she started as a manager our first semester last year as a freshman. Second semester we put her on the roster, and in our last game that we played, we were getting destroyed by Drury in the semifinal. I think we were down 30, and Patty is just playing extremely hard. She dove for a loose ball, went into the stanchion or the table trying to save a ball, and I go into the locker room and say, that's how we're supposed to play. And then it just carries over to this year where she's even much more offensive, scoring the ball for us a little bit more, shooting the ball better for us. But she sets the tone. Like, she just works so extremely hard, and I'm like, this is the example of how we're supposed to play. Whatever the results are, this is how you're supposed to play. So Patty really jumped out to me.
Now, kind of going off of that, I always hear you got to be coachable. So what exactly from your standpoint does being coachable mean?
Well, hearing uncomfortable conversations, and sometimes coaches, we don't say things so nicely, particularly in the heat of the moment. I'm screaming at you to get something done, and the only reason I'm doing it is because I know you're capable of doing such things. So when you're not doing it it's in the heat of the moment. And being coachable is meaning, okay, I got you, coach. Yes, you know, and it's very, very important, even in the recruiting process. I'm talking to kids and their parents. It's important that you listen to what I say, not so much how I say it, because sometimes it comes out very, very harsh. So being coachable is being understanding. I can take this type of coaching.
And on the other side of that relationship, being a head coach yourself, in your opinion, what makes a great coach?
I think you got to know your players as people, even more so than players. Get to know them as people. What are their likes, dislikes? What's their family like? Letting their parents know that you have an open door. What kind of background did you come from? What do you want to do after you graduate? Just knowing them as people, and then letting them know you as a person. So how I am on the court, I'm a lot different off the court. I joke around, I crack jokes. They crack jokes on me, they talk about me, and we just crack jokes with each other. So we get to know each other as people. And I think that's super, super important, that you're viewed as a human, not just, oh, that's just my coach. Like, we're family. Like, we're going to be family 40 years from now.
All right. So, as the season begins, what are some goals for this season that you want to accomplish?
Honestly, we want to get better day by day, game by game, quarter by quarter. Like, we just want to get better moving forward. Each day we want to improve upon something. Like, we looked at our last game and go, okay, we played extremely hard against them. But we didn't shoot the ball well, right? So we want to get better shooting the ball well. And our guards are our strength, like I said, and we just got to put the ball in the basket. So I think we're going to be improving on that. And some of my goals is just to, win one possession at a time. Man, I'm not, I just want to work hard and let the results be the results.
All right, and then last question for you, Coach, before we let you go. I asked you a little bit about this before we got started, but should we be expecting anything spectacular to pop out of the closet of one Coach Mark Mitchell?
I don't know, man. My wife is here with me now, so I'll refer to her and ask her, okay, what should I go with today? So she helps me out with that. Hey,
for anyone who hasn't been to a game at Nickerson Hall to watch the women's basketball team here at UND play, you need to. If not for the team, then for the attire, if you will, of Coach Mark Mitchell. Mark, thank you for coming on today. Good luck this season. I'll see you tonight.
I appreciate you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good Morning Greyhounds. When we come back, Coach Corsaro of the men's team here at UND up next.
There's often a moment when you're helping somebody with math where suddenly get over that little barrier and they get it. It's a nice aha moment, and I really like being involved in helping students achieve that moment. And we do get a lot of those here in the tutoring lab.
The first time I went to Lucas Oil was last year for the 6A Center Grove versus Carroll State high school football game. And I walk in this time thinking I know what's going on, thinking I know what's going to happen. And if I were to say that Lucas Oil lost any effect on you, just the pure vastness that it hits you when you walk in, I'd be wrong. And Jace put it perfectly. He walked in and said, wow, this is the dream. And it is, because the people that we look up to listen to a high school football game of the week on WICR HD3 UND Radio.
Are you feeling alone in your faith? UND Catholic gives you an opportunity to get involved in a religious community on campus, providing sacramental needs and fellowship for prospective students and giving you a sense of belonging.
We just want you guys to know that God loves you, He delights in you, and He's in awe of you, and we would love to meet you. So you should come on out.
UND Catholic, a community for you.
For children who may have high-functioning autism, may have ADHD, processing challenges, working memory issues, sensory integration issues, those types of challenges. It's a place where Human beings are valued. Children are respected. It's a progressive school that takes a hands-on approach to education.
Welcome back in. Good morning, Greyhounds. Caden Colford.
And I'm Liam Blaze.
We are here with head coach of the men's team now, Coach Paul Corsaro. Coach, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, just getting started, I think we're going to take a similar route as we did with Coach Mitchell. How did you get your start in basketball? Where are you from, and how did you get here?
So I'm from Indianapolis, played locally at Roncalli High School. I'm an alum here, played basketball and football here, both sports for Coach Gerard and Coach Bartolomeo. When I was finishing up playing, I still had a year left in my grad program. I was in the MBA program here, and the head coach at the time, Coach Gerard, offered me a graduate assistant spot to, help him coach and also finish my MBA. And at the time, I didn't really know what I was going to do. I was thinking about maybe going to law school after I got my MBA and all that. But that year that I coached, I fell in love with it and decided, hey, this is what I want to do. And fortunately, I was hired here as a full-time assistant right after that, and that's kind of how it all got started.
So you mentioned you went to Roncalli. So how does it feel that you are still the leading scorer at Roncalli High School?
Well, I wasn't that great of a player, so I don't know how they haven't had somebody come in there yet and top it. But it is an honor, anytime you have a record, that's pretty cool. But there's been plenty of better players than me come through there, that's for sure.
So looking at your experience as a student athlete, obviously a great player in high school, played football and basketball here at the University of Indianapolis. How would you compare that, your student experience, to your guys that you coach now?
Well, that's what I want to give them. One of my goals is when guys leave here, whenever their time is done, I want them to look back and be like, man, I really enjoyed that experience as a player, as a student, off the court, everything involved with being a student athlete here. And what I learned that from Coach Gerard. Part of the reason I wanted to get in coaching and everything was because I really enjoyed playing for him and Coach Bartolomeo as well. So I had great coaches that gave me a great experience. And that's what I try to do for my guys now too, is, we try to spend a lot of time off the court as well as on the court, fostering an environment where they really enjoy it.
Now, just going mentally, how much does it take to be a head coach?
Quite a bit. There's a lot of sleepless nights. In season, you don't see your family a whole lot. People don't realize that there's a lot more to it than just basketball. People think about the practice and the games and the recruiting, but, you talk about giving a good experience, team travel is one thing, monitoring guys' academics, fundraising. There's a lot that goes into it that people kind of forget about, ordering gear. There's a lot of office work that doesn't have anything to do with basketball. So, really, even in the off season, you're doing that office work. That way, when the season comes around, you can focus on the basketball. So it's really a 12-month job that, requires a lot.
And adding to that, I just wonder, how much weight do you put on your own shoulders in terms of your team's success?
Quite a bit. As the head of any organization or leader of any program, it should start and finish with you. Now, it's a true team. Our success, our players and our assistant coaches deserve the majority of the success because, fortunately for me, I've surrounded myself with great people in terms of my staff and my players, but in terms of being able to lead them and give them a vision, that falls on me. And, I take it personally when we don't have success. And if we ever don't have success, I'm never going to blame those guys. I need to be better.
Now, what is the jump like from being an assistant coach to being the official head coach of a team?
Kind of like what we just talked about, as an assistant, your job is to support the vision of your head coach. As the head coach, your job is to facilitate that vision and manage and oversee everybody else. So I think that's the main thing.
And taking a look at least last year as a head coach, I think even you'd have to say that's pretty successful, right? 26 single season wins, 17 conference wins for the program. What do those numbers mean to you?
Anytime you can set program records, that's really special. I have a lot of pride in this program. I played here. I spent a lot of time here as an assistant. I have a lot of respect for the history of University of Indianapolis men's basketball. So I take a lot of pride in what we were able to accomplish last year. Turning to this year, I'm trying to explain to my players, to my staff that, hey, that's over though. You know, that was last year. We need to focus on this year. We need to go out and do our own thing this year. And nothing we did last year is going to have any bearing on what happens this year. So we need to kind of reset our mindset and be focused on the task at hand.
Now, after last season, since you guys were very successful, do you think fans and other schools are looking at you at higher expectations?
Well, in terms of other schools, I think we're going to get everyone's best shot because of it. You know, there's a target on our back, and we'd expect what's coming in every game. In terms of fans, I hope so. You know, we have high expectations too, and what I hope is that fans are excited and come out and we pack Nickerson Hall.
And do you think those high expectations are a good thing for your team?
I think anytime you have expectations, it's a good thing because I think it means that people respect where the program's at. And I think in any line of work or any line of competition, in any field, you want people's respect. So high expectations means respect, but now with respect comes, you know, like I said, you have to go out there and you have to own up to that. So we have some work to do, and we're excited for the challenge.
Now, speaking of that, as a coach, you've come across many teams. What separates this special group from any other group that you come across?
I think we're still trying to figure that out. It's still early in the season. You know, I think we do have a special group. We're still in the midst of, you know, kind of defining roles and, you know, where certain pieces fit together. I really believe in this team. We have great character and great student athletes, great young men, great players. But in terms of, you know, what really defines this group and makes this group special, there's no doubt that it is special, but that one or two things, I think only time will tell. We're still kind of building and figuring that out.
I got to make the trip down to Bloomington, and it was a great experience to just even watch a game at Assembly Hall for you. What was it like to coach at Assembly Hall?
Really special. I mean, I'm from Indiana. Everybody knows the history of Indiana basketball. And Assembly Hall, you look up, you see 5 national championship banners in the rafters, and you know, Bob Knight, you know, one of the greatest figures in all of college basketball, to be able to coach and our guys to compete on the floor that he made famous, it was unbelievable, and I was really happy with how he came out and just competed and played hard.
For sure. One guy that really stuck out to me, David Ejab. I think, you know, he stepped in as a starter. He had some big shots that I'm not sure we saw last season, at least as much as we did in this one. What strides did he make in the offseason?
I'm really proud of David. You know, I think Greyhound fans are really going to enjoy the type of basketball he shows out with this year. You know, David transferred to us from St. Francis, which was an NAIA program, and he was an All-American. He averaged, you know, over 20 points a game, and he was the guy. And, you know, he came to a higher level last year with some other talented players where he went from being the guy to one of the guys. And that was a tough adjustment for David last year. He really helped us and was a big part of our success last year, but in a smaller role. Well, David's had a great attitude. He recognized what he needed to do after being here for a year to have the year he wants to have this year. And he just worked his tail off this offseason, and he's had just unbelievable attitude and effort on a daily basis. And, you know, he has earned everything that he's getting right now, and I think he's just scratching the surface. He's going to have an incredible season.
Now, you got some seniors now. Kendrick Cho is a senior. I know Jesse Bingham is a senior. So what do you expect from them as leaders of this team?
You know, to lead by example, but also vocally as well. You know, Jesse's always been a lead by example guy. I'm trying to get him to be more vocal along with that. Kendrick has been a lead by example and a vocal guy, and then with him it's about the consistency every single day. But I think they're both doing a great job. Like, those guys have been with me since I've gotten here, and you know, I wouldn't want anything more than what I get from them as leaders. And let's not forget about Josiah Tynes, because those 3 guys are my captains. And Josiah is a future coach in the making. Like, no one understands the game or is more cerebral than Josiah. So they each bring something a little unique and a little different in terms of their leadership. And I think they're doing a great job, and they're just going to get better with it as the season goes on.
And you brought up Josiah, making me think about the Canada trip that you guys took in the offseason. We did not get to follow you guys up north, but how was that experience for you and your team?
It was really neat, and I want to thank all the people who donated and supported that trip to make it possible. But that was for Josiah. he hadn't played a home game since middle school. He went to high school in St. Louis at a prep school. He went to junior college down in Florida. So to give him that opportunity to go play in front of his home crowd, that was really good. I think it brought us closer as a team. We returned a lot of guys, but those guys are in new roles. We brought in some new guys that we had to get acclimated. So I think it was really good in terms of giving this group a chance to maybe hit the fast forward button and get ahead in terms of our camaraderie. And then we allowed the guys to do some off the court things together that it was just really enjoyable. And if anyone's never been to Halifax and is thinking about going, I encourage you to do it because it's a neat place.
It looked amazing.
So I was just wondering, as a coach, you said you saw Josiah at the times you were here with his whole career. So as they grow up, how hard is it to coach as they start as a young adult to grow as a man? How hard is it to let them go and see their career flourish?
To let them go, I don't want to let them go. I love these guys. That's going to be really tough for me because I don't know what life is like as a coach without Josiah, Kendrick, Jesse, Julian. There's been guys in this team that have been with me in it, through the thick and thin since I've gotten here. So, I just want to soak up every last moment with them and cherish that. I really don't want to think about letting them go yet, but there is going to be a time for that.
And as a coach, have you had a payoff moment where you've kind of looked back and thought, yeah, I'm glad I did this. This makes everything worth it, all the work that you put in? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Graduation day every year, when I'm there with the guys, that's one of those moments. When guys get jobs, that's one of those moments. Jacoby Robinson signed a professional contract and is playing overseas right now. Corey Miller got a really good job, making a lot of money in the business world, working here locally. Helping Kendrick, go through his family's out of town and that kind of stuff, helping him go through the process and watching him purchase his first car. So the non-basketball moments is what I really, get more gratification of, and helping them, have successful lives outside of basketball.
So as we wrap up here, in your eyes, what defines success for you in this season?
What defines success for this season is if we become the best that we can and get better every day. Right now, our goal is to come out to practice today and take a step forward from this past weekend and be one day better than we were when we left the court on Saturday night. And that's the ultimate goal. If we can just get better every day and become the best team that we can become, and I can't tell you what that looks like right now. That's the beauty of a basketball season. That's this season. In terms of me, my success is going to be determined. Did all of our guys have a great experience? Did we come together and grow? And when this season's over, are all of our players better off for having been in our program?
Well, Coach, I think I can speak for me and Liam and everyone who watches Greyhound basketball. We're excited for what this season has in store.
I did bring a little
as Liam pulls the shirt out, we're ready to go, and I think you are too.
I have to comment on that. We're getting new shirts made this year, a new design, and we need Casaro's crew to be in full force to make Nickerson Hall the most rocking environment in Division II basketball.
Hey, Corsaro's crew is upcoming this season. We cannot wait. Caden Colford, Liam Blaze, Coach Corsaro. This was Good Morning Greyhounds. Thank you for tuning in.